So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for making it through this kind of a long day. But we are ready now for our fourth and final segment, Blue Arts and Culture, which will be led by Turan Sims from the Ministry of Tourism. So Turan, take it away.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our fourth and final session of the Bahamas Development Bank first ever Blue Economy Think Tank. My name is Turan Sims. I work as a coordinator in the Sustainability Department at the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism and Aviation. The blue economy is something that I have fell in love with. From a very young child, I've been, whether it was fishing in Ragged Island, training dolphins at Atlantis, or diving in the beautiful waters of Andros, the ocean has always been connected to me. And combined with my love for tourism, we spoke about maritime, we spoke about renewable energy, we spoke also about fisheries, which are all essential parts of the blue economy. Now, in this session, we'll speak about blue arts, culture, and tourism, another vital element of the blue economy. During this session, we are focused on creative opportunities in the blue economy. We'll be interacting with four very innovative young Bahamians who are involved in work surrounding culture, art, and tourism. We have Katie Starr, who is the owner of Mer Squad Yachting, Lindsay Knows, who's the owner of Bahamas Mermaids, Christophe Francois, who's a park warden at Bahamas National Trust, and Lovato Stove, the director and owner of Kung Boy Films. One of the films that we actually saw today, the beautiful film from Cat Island. Thank you all for being here. We will begin our panel shortly with starting with short, brief presentations from our panelists, and following, we'll have a question and answer session. Katie, you'll start the panel discussion off with your presentation.
All right, so can everyone hear me? Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. Trying to share my screen. I don't know, can you guys see it?
No, not as yet.
Not yet? Oh. Okay. What about now?
Yep, we can see your screen.
Okay. Is it on full screen mode or?
No, it doesn't seem to be.
Okay, what about now? It's better?
Yep, looks great.
Okay, great. All right, so I'm just gonna go right into it. All right, so my name is Katie Storr, aka Mermaid Katie. So a lot of you might know me from Instagram. I have quite a great social media and presence. I am a woman of many hats. So I'm actually a Bahamian ocean entrepreneur and ocean conservationist, master scuba diver trainer, Shark for Kids ambassador, underwater photographer, and videographer. And I'm known mostly for teaching scuba diving on super yachts, and a media manager and content creator for a lot of ocean related businesses here in the Bahamas. So I was introduced to the ocean at a very young age, pretty much at the age of 8. And my dad was a dive master when I was growing up. So I grew up working on board dive boats with my dad. And I always found it very fascinating that the divers would go down and I would be looking at them because I would have a regulator and breathing and checking them out, hanging onto the back of the ladder. And the ocean was always a whole new world for me. I really wanted to actively do it all the time. And so that's pretty much how I got into scuba diving. So you'll see a lot of the pictures that are going to be on my slideshow. They're all taken by me. So I'm in the water quite a lot. So now I'm actually a dive professional. Here are some of the certifications I have to date. There's about 5,000 scuba dives and guided dives, as well as 202 certified PADI students to date as well. And I basically became an open water instructor because I wanted to escape the 9-to-5 job. I really did not like the 9-to-5. It was too routine for me, and I wanted to live life and work on my own terms, which is why I left IT and became a scuba instructor. And so the scuba diving industry in the Bahamas, and this is some content I've taken as well. The information I've gotten was based on 2017. So $114 million is generated in the Bahamas from scuba diving alone. 99% of that comes from shark diving. And a lot of that generated revenue doesn't even go back into the Bahamian economy, which is terrible because it's actually made by foreign dive operations or liveaboards. All right, so we're not really benefiting at all. This is why it's so great to have these types of conversations and events. That way we can come together and build on solutions for these issues, and how we can grow the economy, the blue economy itself. So the Bahamas has, like, we're world-class for diving here. This is why everybody comes here. Our waters are teeming with life, as you can see in some of these photos that I've taken. And we strongly push ocean conservation. So we've established tons of marine parks. And our waters are now, from 2011, have been a shark sanctuary. So, you know, we have quite a lot of marine life existing here. And so with scuba diving, there's huge benefits involved in becoming a scuba diver, basically financially and mentally. So let's say, for instance, I've had students that have told me that they've actually cured their anxiety and depression from scuba diving. So it's not just a financial thing, you know, it can have a lot more benefits than just financial gain. All right, so now I work primarily as a yacht stewardess. That's where I get my main source of income. I freelance and I temp staff on board motor yachts anywhere from 75 feet to about 210 feet. I work on private islands and private estates as well. These are some of the certifications I have to date in the yachting industry. And it's safe to say that yachting is a lucrative business. I mean, right now, yachting in the Bahamas is still in infancy. It's still growing and developing. So I think last year with the pandemic, we actually announced that we would make yachting a top priority in the Bahamas. So if you noticed, during the pandemic, the yachting and the private aviation sector were the only sectors that were actively open during the pandemic. You know, we were allowing lots of boats to come into our waters as long as they had the negative COVID test and they could quarantine on board. So since that has happened, we've had a huge influx of yachts coming into our waters, which means now on high demand, people are now, or owners and captains are actively looking for Bahamians who qualify to work in the yachting industry. And it's such an influx because I have a business now and people are coming to me asking me for local Bahamians, and I only have a handful. So it's a huge lack right now with trying to find, you know, people that are Bahamians that are working in the yachting industry. All right, so these are two people that I know that work as engineers, and they're Bahamians, and they work internationally and locally on board yachts. So that's a huge factor. And my main goal and for the future basically is for more Bahamians to be well informed of the blue economy, how they can benefit financially, and how they can boost the economy by starting new careers within yachting, businesses. It's time to start thinking outside of the box because, you know, choose a new career. Becoming a doctor and a lawyer is not the thing anymore. It's like, choose something else, think outside of the box. So now, because I thought outside of the box, I created a company called the Mer Squad Yachting. And my company, let me give you a little bit more information on it. So, and I also have a business partner as well. So we wanted to be a resource for yachts cruising in and out of the Bahamas, okay? Someone that connected them with the family islands, with local vendors and Bahamian business owners. so they could kind of stop provisioning outside of our country. If you need something, we have it. Come here, put the money into our economy. And it's a very unique company because we offer personalized, private, full service dive operations on board. So this is a picture from one of the trips that we went on. And basically we were just a chase boat for a huge mega yacht, and we followed them and we basically just dived for an entire 2 weeks with them. And we were having fun whilst we were working. Like, I mean, we didn't even feel like we were working. As you could see in the picture, we were extremely happy that day. So my biggest thing with my yachting company, though, is that I offer crewing services. So if somebody wants to come into our waters and they need a stewardess that's Bahamian, I provide that. They need a deckhand that's Bahamian, I provide that. Dive professionals, that's the biggest thing. The other biggest service that we offer is online training for Bahamians. So if you're interested in a yachting career, we're able to train you up as well. So if you want to get into anything within the dive industry, the yachting or the dive industry, we can train you. Now, if you don't take anything else from me today, please take this one message. Start to take ownership. Please take ownership in the blue economy and the Bahamas. We have so much to offer within the yachting industry. Here are some of the yachties that I personally know and that some of them I've actually placed on boats, but they're working internationally. So we have Khalil Bethel. He is actually a chief officer, working in Italy. Okay, he's working on a huge 70-meter yacht, and he has his 3,000 tonnage, which is like he's the king of all yachties right now in the Bahamian industry. And then we have Devano Minus. He's also a chief officer. DeAndre Hepburn, who's my business partner, he works in the private islands and estate sector. So he works as a deckhand, a mate, AEC engineer. And then we also have Ashton Gray, who's a deckhand. He has been traveling around the world right now working, which is amazing. You know, he's young, he's traveling, and he's doing it on board a yacht. And then we have Bahamian engineers. Now, if you notice, the difference is there's only 2 faces on here because we only have 2, which means if you're an engineer, if you're studying to be an engineer now, you might want to change it to go into the yachting sector. You make a lot of money. You know, I mean, you make tons of money from working in yachting, and especially working as an engineer because you're the heart of the vessel, all right? And then the interior, which is where I work. So chief stewardesses, we have myself, Ine, and Raven. And then in the galley, this is like where you would have all the chefs. Nikki Lightbourne, Emily Darville, DeAndre Hepburn, they're all working on board yachts currently to date. And like I said, internationally and locally, all right? So before I move on to that, I just wanna give you some information on why yachting is a lucrative career, all right? So you'll be paid very well to travel, and most of your travel expenses are all taken care of by the owner of the yacht. You'll work with so many influential people. I've worked with celebrities, billionaires, tons of people. I have lots of NDAs that I cannot speak about. You'll make a lot of memories and you'll have fun doing them. You gain unique skills. And this is a huge one, the increase of future job prospects. So I've gained so many different things from working in yachting that I feel like I can work anywhere now, you know, because I can do so many things just from being in the yachting sector. And the best part about it is you're gonna have fun doing it, okay? So now my last thing is I wanna actually give something away to you guys. So I thought it would be fun to actually give 5 enrollments to our online course. So Breaking into Yachting is actually an online course that Ine Aubrey made. She's a chief stewardess. And we want to give away 5 enrollments to that course today. So if you're interested in getting into the yachting sector, please reach out to BDB and let them know that you're interested by email, and we'll sign you up. You get to fill out a form, and then we'll have 5 winners. So pretty much that's it. And if you want to reach me on social media, here are my handles and my website. And yeah.
Thank you so much, Katie. Innovation within the blue economy to harness economic potential. Awesome job, Katie.
Thank you.
Next on up, we have Lindsay. Lindsay, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you for inviting me today. Let me share my screen. Let's make sure this works. And let me know, guys. How is it? Can you see it? Can you hear me?
We can see it. Perfect.
Oh, you can see it perfectly. Awesome. Okay, so once again, thank you all for inviting me here today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Lindsay Knowles Belton, and I am a Bahamian, and I love the ocean. I started off exploring the ocean as a child. My father was a charter boat captain, and that inspired me to go off to school and get a degree in marine science. So let's just go forward. How do I get this slide to go? Okay. So Mermaid on Land. Who is Mermaid Lindsay? I attained my degree at Jacksonville University. I graduated the most outstanding student in marine science. And then I returned home and I worked at 2 dolphin facilities on Nassau, Atlantis and Dolphin Encounters, where I worked in the animal care and training department, training these animals, but also spreading a message about the environment. And then I switched gears as an informal educator on Blue Lagoon Island, where I conducted beach cleanups, school field trips, and school assembly programs and expos. So I was very fortunate to be able to host beach cleanups throughout the Bahamas. This is just a couple photos where for the Coastal Awareness Month through the Ministry of Tourism, I went to Treacherkey and Abaco, went to the Berries, also went to Bimini. And that was an opportunity to not only be able to host these beach cleanups, but if you see the photo to the left, there's always students there. So I'm able to educate them about the trash and why we shouldn't dump it and how bad it is for the environment. All of my beach cleanups, I make sure that I make it as engaging as possible for the kids. So they're leaving with a message, not just, hey, we came to clean up other people's trash. So I'd always play this marine debris timeline game where they have to guess how long it takes for various items to break down in the environment. As well as at every beach cleanup, we collect data. And so if you see the photo to the right, that's a teacher who has a data card in her hand and she's recording every single piece of trash that they collected, down to bottle caps, bottles, straws, forks, and that way you can find out what type of trash is being washed up or dumped and what changes we need to make as the human race to prevent these items from being dumped. Here's a photo of a group of students from Kingsway Academy on the left. We did a beach cleanup at Yamacraw. And to the right is a photo of myself and one of my education coordinators at Dolphin Encounters when I was there. And we hosted the International Coastal Cleanup, which is a cleanup that is hosted on one day in over 100 countries. And I happen to be the state coordinator for that for about 6 years. So I had an opportunity to be able to host those, had a lot of sponsors. Go to the next slide. School field trips. So my time at Dolphin Encounters, I was able to educate Bahamian students as well as tourists. If you see in the top photo, it's this preschool that came and I'm teaching them about sea lions, about the anatomy, why it's important to protect them. To the bottom left, obviously it is a tourist destination. So tourists then come and they learn about, like you can see the conch in the hand, different sizes, which ones you should harvest, which ones you shouldn't. To the bottom right, we had a camp, and at the camp we were able to take the children out on the reef so that they can actually see the reef and see why it's so important to protect it. School assembly programs. So this is when I went into all of the different schools and I was able to present on various topics, whether it be marine debris, whether it be, a particular animal. You can see to the left, I actually would take conchs with me to my presentation, because it's nothing like, you know, I'm sitting up there and I have a presentation and I have photos, but having a child hold a conch shell, you know, that makes an impact. They're never going to forget that. So I would have various sizes, whether it be juvenile or mature conch, to show them the difference and which ones we should be eating. At the top right, you'll see a photo I just snapped with one of the children that were there at my presentation. And he won a reusable water bottle for answering a question about an animal. And that way, I'm letting them know, hey guys, let's not use single-use plastic, let's use a recyclable water bottle. Expos, same thing. It is a great way to be able to educate in a creative way. Bottom left, it's just a game where the kids had to put their hands in and feel the different items and guess what it is. Bottom right, one of my favorite games, of course, is guessing how long it takes for various trash to break down in the environment.
Katie, if there's supposed to be sound, you need to say, Lindsay, sorry, you need to share the sound on your computer.
Okay, well, it was just a really nice song, but you guys get the point, is that the children are our future, right? And so let's move on to a different part of me, which is the entertainer and the performer. So many years I rushed in Junkanoo. I love Junkanoo. I love the arts. I love the culture. I started in 2007 to date. I'm still doing it. So it's a little bit of, I'm an informal educator and I'm an entertainer and performer. So now it's time to my true mermaid form. What is mermaiding, bridging the gap, and a new type of ocean ambassador? So what is mermaiding? Mermaiding is the practice of wearing and often swimming in a costume or mermaid tail. It's both a profession and a hobby. You'll see this photo is taken by Mermaid Katie, who you just listened to, who is an awesome underwater photographer. And just a little tip, doing this, getting in this profession, you start to meet people that you've never met before. And when I launched being a mermaid, Mermaid Katie came out of nowhere and she's like, hey, we need to collab and we need to work together. So here I am in 2015, and that is really when my mermaid career started. You know, it was an idea in the back of my head and I was a little nervous about it. I didn't know how it'd be received and I kind of got forced into it, which is a blessing in disguise. There was an author, bottom left, Victoria Khan. She has a book, a children's book about a mermaid. And she came to Atlantis to launch her book and they reached out to me to be the mermaid for the event. So I quickly got my tail that I have been sitting on and I taught myself how to be a mermaid in 2 weeks. And here I am with the kids and in the basement of Atlantis before I went into the tank. I do not know how to share sound, guys. So let's just pretend you can hear it. This is a video by Mermaid Katie. by making these connections with other Bahamians, you can see I was able to get that amazing content by Mermaid Katie. I'm also a certified free diver. That's something that a lot of mermaids in the industry will add on to their certifications. It's not necessarily needed, but it is something good to have for safety reasons when you are performing underwater at a particular depth. I was able to do that this year. And that's in the Blue Hole in Long Island. I was very fortunate to be able to go the beginning of this month, and train with the professional freedivers that are in Long Island. So that was amazing. Now, how am I bridging the gap? How am I going from on land with traditional tools and now in my true mermaid form? I'm a new type of ocean ambassador. You know, before I use dolphins and sea lions and a conch, I'm using myself, because when it comes down to it, kids will listen to whatever a mermaid says. They will believe anything. They will entrust you with their secrets. And if I tell them, hey guys, I have my little ocean friend, it's a dolphin or it's a sea lion or a turtle or a fish, and they don't like when trash is in the ocean. So can you make sure you throw your trash away? And guess what? They will do that, and they will go home and they will tell their parents. They will tell their friends. Photo to the left, I'm reading a story to children, and it's a captive audience, an audience that it's very hard to create that setting in a classroom setting, if it makes any sense. So 16 plus years I've been in the classroom, I've been in front of assemblies, I've been at beach cleanups, and I didn't really feel that I was making the connection that I should be making at this point. And that's how this all came about. I've been able to also give back. The photo to the left was an event for Dorian survivors. So children that was displaced from their homes, and they came to Nassau, and the pirate ship was able to reach out to me and say, Lindsay, would you be interested in giving back? And I was like, of course. So it's a very rewarding career. It's a lot of birthday parties, a lot of birthday parties, but I make sure that I always include marine conservation in every event. Now that I have this following and this platform, I'm able to use it for environmental awareness. In particular, marine debris and trash. That in particular is ocean trash. I'm able to use the images to spread my message. I've also created eco-friendly products. I have reusable straws, and I use native salt to make salt products. I do virtual events. To the right, you know, in the pandemic, I wasn't able to interact with the children, but I was asked to read stories to kids in New York and other parts of the world. To the left, I created a crafting video where I taught kids how to create a craft and taught them about the animal that they were making. And finally, towards the end, I've created my pod. So my dream was always to have a pod of mermaids that are spreading this message. So Bahamas Mermaids was created, and it's the first mermaid pod in the Bahamas. And here we are. It's just 2 of us for now, but we are growing. And my first mermaid is Johnny Cartwright, who is actually an education officer at the Bahamas National Trust. She's also studying sociology and sustainability at Arizona State, and she has experience educating children. So here we are. And I just want to thank you guys for inviting me here today. And if you have any questions, please comment below.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. The work that Lindsay is doing is so essential to marine conservation in the future. We have to create a new generation of environmentally minded citizens, and being able to influence young people from such a young age. We won't have to question whether we should protect the ocean. It will be a way of living. And furthermore, using tourism as a tool of conservation. It ties into our next speaker, Christopher Francois. We need money to conserve the environment. So we can use tourism as a source of gaining income to protect our natural environment. Christophe, Francois, take the floor.
Can you hear me now?
You can edit perfect.
Can you see my screen?
You can see it.
So, good afternoon all. My name is Christophe Francois. I am a Deputy Park Warden for the Bahamas National Trust. I've been involved with the Bahamas National Trust for 7 odd years. It's become a staple of my life and a part of my everyday job as a Bahamian citizen. So, the Bahamas National Trust, for the most part, was established by an Act of Parliament in 1959. We are the managing body for national parks in the Bahamas. We, of course, conduct scientific research. We advise government on policies. We engage in education and outreach. And of course, we curate environmental stewards. So, national parks benefit people and wildlife, of course, right? For communities, it creates a space for low impact recreation activities. Of course, it has a vast amount of economic benefits, right? For one, national parks like the McKees and Sea Park, which are no-take zones, they create a spill-off effect, whereas because there are no-take zones, environments outside of that no-take zone are replenished repeatedly by, of course, marine resources that can be harvested by humans. And of course, they are a platform for sustainable businesses and opportunities, like, of course, bird watching guides, kayak guides, snorkeling guides, etc. The environment, it protects species and habitats, like, for example, the flamingo is a tool for species restoration and rejuvenation. Another example would be the flamingo, and ecosystem services. We all know that national parks, that has a myriad of different ecosystems. Specifically, when you talk about marine parks like a mangrove ecosystem or even a coral reef, they are pivotal in stopping dangerous waves and surf caused by storm surge. So they are very vital to our livelihood as Bahamians. An example of a species that's protected would be, of course, the West Indian flamingo. It's a conservation success story. In 1959, there were less than 5,000 species, 5,000 left across the archipelago. As of 2021, there's over 70,000 flamingos across the archipelago. It's one of the greatest success stories in the wider Caribbean when it comes to conservation of a species. So when it comes to people, low impact recreation activities, right? From swimming to snorkeling to scuba to kayaking to hiking and guided tours. As a park warden, specifically located at Primeval Forest National Park, we have a lot of public-private partnerships with organizations like Jeep Tours. When you talk about Bonefish Pond National Park, we have public-private partnership with Ultimate Tours Bahamas, with Wolf Tours, kayaking tours, etc. And so these individuals are able to utilize a natural space, a national park, not only for a sustainable livelihood, but also to educate individuals when it comes to the importance of protecting these environments. The other business opportunities are bird watching tours. Bird watching has the ability to bring $71 million into the economy. We have individuals that travel the world just to see certain species. Fishing guides, fly fishing is one of the biggest things that are done on the Isle of Andros. I'm sure I see Prescott Smith a part of the video call, but he is a renowned fly fishing guide. Cultural and historical tours. A lot of these national parks, specifically sites like Primeval Forest National Park, like Bonefish Pond National Park, they have a lot of cultural and historical aspects to them. Bonefish Point National Park, for example, has been used for hundreds of years by, of course, liberal Africans, whether in the Jamaica community or in the Benin and Grand Canyon community. They would actually make the pilgrimage from these communities to that environment to fish, to hunt, etc. These have been going on for literally almost the better part of 2 centuries. All right, so we could actually highlight these things through the engagement of the community in national parks. Another good example of marine habitats being used as part of cultural and heritage, cultural and historical tours is that the Yatley Creek ecosystem, which is currently not a national park, but is an important bird reserve, has been used by the Yatley communities, Yatley inhabitants for, like I said, a better part of a century. They would have actually utilized it to bring tourists from the custom barracks at Clifton into the village, and then utilize horse and dray to carry those tourists into the city. So we could highlight these aspects as part of not only historical and cultural tours, but intertwine that into, of course, the blue economy. And last but not least, right, if you want to contact the Bahamas National Trust, we're always looking for individuals to assist either through volunteerism in restoration to an environment, for cleanups, etc. And of course, if you have any business ideas that are sustainable and that you want to get involved in national parks, feel free to contact us through, of course, our website, www.bnt.bs, or you can contact me at kfrancois@bnt.bs.
Thank you so much, Christoph, for your presentations on our national parks. Just a personal story, you can see I have on my Androsia. About 6 years ago, I picked up from Nassau and moved to Andros, and exactly what Christoph presented is what I did. I was a eco tour guide, I was a dive master, and all using the national parks of our country. Within the ecotourism sector, there's so many opportunities for young Bahamians, especially, to merge into. Christopher said kayaking guides, birding guides, fly fishermen, and the quality of the visitors coming to do these activities, they have a higher purchasing power. So, for example, fly fishermen, they make up about, say, 4% of the overall arrivals here in the country, but 12% of the overall expenditure. There are merit of opportunities in this sector that the blue economy and also the orange economy has that you can get involved in. Now we'll move into our next speaker, Lovato Stubbs. He has created videos from around the Bahamas on conservation. I'm sure all of you remember the video Conch Gone. Lovato, the floor is yours.
Thank you for having me. My name is Lovato Stubbs. I own the production company Conch Boy Films. I'm a director producer. Doing this professionally over 10 years, when I think about that, I'm like, wow, it's been an amazing journey, a long journey, but amazing. Quick background on me. I started off as a visual artist, a painter in my high school years in the Bahamas. And not until I moved off to Toronto, Canada for university, I fell in love with filmmaking. So the whole background of visual artist merged into me becoming a filmmaker. From there, I moved to LA, Los Angeles, where I was able to work on a lot of really cool projects as a director, producer. And then I moved back home to start Conch Boy Films. And, my name, Conch Boy Films, the production company, it shows that the orange economy connects to the blue economy right away because, conch is our treasure. Conch is everything to us. You could ask any Bahamian on this planet what conch is, and they know conch. We're born and raised with it. So I had to name the company Conch Boy Films. I wanted a piece of the Bahamas in the company name. So wherever I am in the world, whatever production I'm doing, people know that it's Bahamian. There's a lot of people, they'll be around the world, they'll be like, you mean Conch Boy Films? They can't pronounce it, which is funny. But like I said, I had opportunities to create and direct videos in Toronto, in Los Angeles, other parts of the US. And every time I create a video, especially my music videos, I always have a conch shell somewhere within the music video as a symbolism of Bahamas and what we are, And like I said, that really shows that the ocean is everything to us. Our culture is everything to us. And if you ever see my work, culture plays a big part of that. I'm always featuring Jonkunu in my films, my music videos, my documentaries. I'm featuring food. You know, you see conch in everything, like I said. So it's a very important aspect to me as a filmmaker. I am a filmmaker, but firstly, I'm Bahamian, you know. What I want to do, I want to play now a reel. What a reel is for a filmmaker, it's their resume, it's their portfolio. So basically, my reel has clips of various projects I've done over the years. You know, and it's kind of something that filmmakers use to get more work. Young filmmakers use it to get into the industry. And that's one of the things that, you know, that's important for me is teaching the future because like I mentioned, you know, when I was a visual artist in the Bahamas back in the day, there weren't much filmmakers like it is today. So I had really not a lot of people to kind of look at as an example. So I want to be that example for other young Bahamians that want to get into this industry. So further ado, I'll play the reel real quickly.
Let's get a party, stand private to see. Folks stand behind the door and poke it out to me. What? Akaraka kona shamama conke got no bone. Akaraka kona shamama conke got no bone. Raw me like the conquered fish, we can't bother with the meat. Cause me chew so hard, me'll grind on bone and break out all the teeth. Aye! Akaraka kona shamama conke got no bone. Akaraka kona shamama conke got no bone. I went to a place the other day to get me some sauce. Me chew so much bone, me swallow the spoon, me forget me how to mouth.
All right, so, you know, as you guys see in that reel, you could see ocean, you see conch, you see everything that's Bahamian and connects to the blue economy. One of the things I want to mention is a turning point with my career and my company in the Bahamas. I had the opportunity in 2014 to direct and produce a music video for Bahamians. Why that opportunity was a turning point for, I would say for the Bahamian industry was, it was commissioned by Sony Records, you know, a big record label. And for years prior to that, I thought that opportunity for me to direct a music video through a big record label would happen in Los Angeles or in Toronto, you know, in the past. So that was a big turning point, I feel, you know, for the industry, and not only for me, you know, I hired many other Bahamian filmmakers for my crew, and many of those individuals they now have amazing careers and they're doing amazing things in the Bahamas within filmmaking as well. So just want to say that, you know, that you know, one thing about me, I always like to say that we are, as filmmakers in the Bahamas, we could do anything on any level of anybody around the world. You know, we definitely have so much talented filmmakers in the Bahamas that are capable of doing so many things. And the cool thing is, you know, over the years, I've had the opportunity to work in the conservation world. You know, I've done many things in the conservation, from working with the Bahamas National Trust. I consider them family now. I've done so many projects with them. Even recently, I had the opportunity to create the animation for their new branding. So, you know, from that to creating PSAs for sharks in the Bahamas and how we in the Caribbean, one of the first people to protect our sharks. I've done an amazing PSA on that. And within doing that PSA, you know, I had the opportunity to learn myself more about marine life and how it's important to us. And that opens up also the conversation that, you know, there's so much opportunity for Bahamians in the blue economy, especially in that underwater world, like Katie. You know, Katie is one of those individuals, another amazing individual, Andre Musgrove, that's doing wonderful things in underwater cinematography. So there's so much opportunity for that, you know, for working within the ocean. That could be, you know, it could be endless, you know what I mean? So even alongside of that, I also had the opportunity to work on a documentary called Plastic Warriors. And it, you know, it features Crystal Ambrose, who's an amazing individual in the Bahamas that created change in terms of being that change to help us ban single plastic use in the Bahamas. And that documentary also, what was amazing about that, I was able to tell a story, so not only like for example, the BNT PSA did on the shark, it was more about the marine life. This particular documentary was about an individual Bahamian on what she's doing. And that documentary went on to win, an international award. It was seen among, millions and thousands of people, I would say, around the world, because the award we won, the category was like a National Geographic, documentary in the same category. So it showed that, we have the capability as Bahamians, as Bahamian filmmakers, to tell our own story, and not only tell our story, but tell our story in the blue economy, Also recently I had the opportunity to create these two amazing documentaries, one called Anthony's that was played earlier, and the next one called Bodies of Waters. And I had the opportunity to create that for an organization called Only One. That's an international organization doing amazing things in conservation and the marine world. And those documentaries, what's interesting about those were I was able to tie our history and our history with the ocean, and to showcase that how our history could somehow connect to our understanding of the ocean. So it was a very, very, very I would say powerful. I was able to honor our ancestors in these documentaries. It was a learning process for me as well, and having an understanding why is the possibility that us as Bahamians, some of us don't know how to swim. Some of us don't go into the ocean. Some of us don't have a love for the ocean the way many others have. Like many people in this panel, have such a strong love for the ocean. But why is that? Is it because of our history? So as a filmmaker, I'm very happy to be able to explore these things. I always say, like, as a filmmaker, I use the camera to speak. I use the camera as my voice. I use the camera to tell these stories to the world. Use it, I'm basically a vehicle to tell these stories. And there's so much opportunity with the orange economy meeting the blue economy that, I could just talk for days about it. I've hired so many boat captains over the years in my productions. That's a big opportunity for filmmaking in the Bahamas. Boat captains are not filmmakers, but we need boat captains. For example, I shot a Kalik commercial in 2014 as well, a really great Kalik commercial. And we had to go from, Exuma to Long Island, so I had to hire a boat captain in those islands, and that was such a big opportunity. We also, in filmmaking, we need boat captains as support boats. Like when we're filming another boat, we on another boat, as the boat follow that boat, we have the camera on the other boat and we're following the boat to capture the boat moving in the water. So that's another big opportunities. And as you guys know, the Bahamas is filled with boat people. You know what I mean? We are ocean people. So there's a lot of opportunity in that as well, I think. I think that's one of the biggest opportunities, because so many productions come to the Bahamas. And the reason why they come to the Bahamas is because they want to film our ocean. Shark Week, a big percentage of Shark Week is filmed in the Bahamas. And that on its own is a huge opportunity for Bahamian filmmakers. This is why I encourage more filmmakers to get into the underwater cinematography stuff. I think that there's a lot of growth in that, like what Katie is doing, another individual, Andre Moskov, that I mentioned. And I think the more Bahamians that get into that, when these productions come now for Shark Week and they shoot in Shark Week, we have all of our underwater cinematographers. They don't have to bring anybody, So there's a lot of opportunity. And not only that, it's just not only the underwater stuff. I just think every single Bahamian or young Bahamian that wants to get into filmmaking, you could pick up a camera and film something relating to the ocean, because people around the world is very intrigued about the ocean. Tourists come for sunshine and sea, but they don't understand the stories. They don't understand who we are as a people. So that's any filmmaker that's listening right now. In any island in the Bahamas, you could pick up a camera, create a short film, a music video, anything that relating to the ocean, and you're gonna get an interest in the world, because people don't know a lot about our oceans and they don't know what it is. But even though we're not, a young filmmaker may not be a marine scientist, but the ocean, we know it, So that's one of the most important things, I really wanted to bring across. Lastly, I'm gonna play another video. Like I said, Bahamas National Trust is my family. I worked with them for so many years, but I created a PSA called Count Gone for them. And Count Gone, the interesting thing about Count Gone was when I was approached by the Bahamas National Trust, they asked for a PSA. They were doing a campaign called Conservation. And I thought, doing a normal PSA with people talking in front of the camera would have been a bit boring. So me being the creative I am, an individual, I thought it would have been a good idea to do a music video. And I thought for multiple reasons, a music video would have been great because the Bahamian public would understand it. Because sometimes I find that when you create films on science, and if it's too complicated and technical, the wider public may not understand it. So I thought the music video was the perfect thing to bring across and bring awareness to our national treasure, the conch. Like we eat it, we make jewelry out of it, it's on our coat of arms, we are conch, you know what I mean? Everything about us. Even some of the sayings, people say, you are the conch, like conch is everything to us, So I thought it was very important to bring it across this way. I had the opportunity to work with some amazing Bahamian artists, as you could see in this. It's like the We Are the World for the Bahamas, so many Bahamians wrote the song. The song was produced by a Bahamian. Everything about this video was Bahamian, and that's what made it so special, And I think it did its job. I've heard like kids, 5-year-olds, was singing the Count Gone song. It's a very catchy song, and I think this video and this song is gonna stay forever. And even many years down the road, individuals and where we at with Conk at that point, you could still play this video and understand it, So it was an honor doing this. I want to continue doing work in the conservation world, and I want to see how I could even push the envelope even more to tell our stories in this world, and just letting the orange economy meet the blue economy. So without saying that, I'm going to play just a few minutes of Count Gone if anybody out there haven't seen it before. So this is the music video, Count Gone.
Five seconds. 4, 3.
Conch, our national dish, has now become extinct throughout the Bahamas.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jiminita Swain. This is the Bahamas Tonight,
The national report. Restaurants are closing down and fishermen are going bankrupt. Environmentalists say that this is a catastrophe. Once conch is gone, it's gone.
I've been diving, heard them say resources low. I noticed things was getting slow, but man, I really thought that they was lying. How our delicacy could ever become mystery when all around me is the sea. My, oh my, should've left them babies in the sand. Why, oh why? Should've give them chance to grow up, should've give them chance to multiply. We must think about tomorrow. There's some simple rules to follow. Preservation, moderation. We need some conservation. Come on. Let you think that's too long. Even more people on the come on. Let them go. If you go before you know. Come on. Mama is crying. Built our lives up on the queen.
All right, thank you. So, like I said, I'm all about our culture. People call me Conch Boy now. Anywhere I'm doing productions around the world. I just recently did some stuff in Toronto, Canada. I can't wait for the world to see. And like I said, even though it's a project in another country, I was still able to put myself as a Bahamian filmmaker in the project, as a Bahamian director, producer. And like I keep saying, I'm all for the future. I always like to say it's what's knowledge if you can't share it. Anybody that's watching right now, any young people that wants to get into filmmaking, you could reach out to me. I welcome interns to learn this stuff. And I want people, young people to understand that there's so much opportunity in the film production industry, because there's that young boat captain out there that may not know the importance of being able to work in the film industry as a boat captain, so that's one of the main things, like I said, I want to bring across. I love what I do. I'll keep doing it, keep repping our country to the fullest, no matter where I am, and just want to see our industry grow. And I'm very grateful that the Bahamas Development Bank, they have grants now, because that's one of the things for years I've been trying to speak about, is that we have filmmakers in the Bahamas, but in order for us to make our productions, we need funding, we need help with funding, because productions, they could be costly. So yeah, with that said, I'm just very excited about the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lovatos. We may be a small island nation, but we are a large ocean state. Therefore, the ocean plays a pivotal role in our overall culture and who we are as a people. And art helps us to display our story, to tell our story to the world. Lovato's work has helped us move towards plastic bans. His work also tells visiting visitors from around the world about who we are as a people. And even some Bahamians, a lot of Bahamians can't swim. So therefore, through his work, they get to see the underwater world and gain an appreciation for it. So we'll move into our question and answer period. And first question is for Christoph from Bahamas National Trust. How do conservation, restoration, and tourism intersect? And where can Bahamians find opportunities to integrate these concepts in a way that supports sustainable livelihoods? Christoph?
Yes, thanks for the question. They intersect at the point where we realize that through conservation, we're able to protect these environments that are so pivotal to our tourism industry. And through restoration, we're able to replenish species that are also pivotal to our tourism industry. For example, one of the greatest examples of that would be, of course, the squirrel work that's done in Exuma, right? Through the national park systems, that, for example, the parks of Mariah Harbour National Park and the Exuma Keys Land Sea National Park, we're able to protect those environments, and the individuals, the squirrel workers, they are still allowed to harvest the materials needed to create the squirrel craft that's pivotal in our industry. All right. And when it comes to opportunities to integrate these concepts of conservation, restoration, and of course tourism, is that you could get involved with restoration work done through a multitude of NGOs like the Bahamas National Trust, like Reef, like the Nature Conservancy, where we conduct these restoration exercises in marine habitats to ensure that they have the species needed to be sustainable, to continue its natural flow, etc. And you could also utilize these environments through sustainable livelihood, right? Through industries like the birdwatch industry, through kayaking, through cultural tours that interact both the green and blue economy. Right? These are some of the things that I think are untapped in our current structure. When it comes to tourism, I think it's a lot of things that we could grow on. There's a lot of opportunities out there for the next generation to take advantage of, to be honest.
Thank you so much for that answer, Christoph. Thinking outside of the box and being innovative, most definitely, whilst using our natural environment. Lovato, the next question is for you. Your recent film emphasized the importance of telling the story of Bahamians. Can you talk about the importance of authenticity and where great opportunities lie for Bahamians to get into the creative field, where the orange economy meets the blue economy? Something I like to call the brown economy, the two colors mixing together.
I like that. Like I said in my presentation, our story is important. As you know, like I said in my presentation, tourists come for sunshine and sea, but they rarely know about us as a people. I'm sure many Bahamians that watching or in this panel, if you've lived anywhere outside of the Bahamas, you've heard stories, people ask you things that you're like, wow, I thought you knew about certain things about the Bahamas, but because our beauty and the beauty of our islands is what's portrayed in films and movies and everything. I remember I watched this one thing on Netflix where the Bahamas was mentioned, and it was funny. It was a show where he compared the Bahamas. He said the Bahamas is the Orlando of the Caribbean, or the Disney World of the Caribbean, you know. And it's amazing. That's the perspective that obviously is projected out in the world. But our stories and our people is something that I'm a strong advocate of, and as a filmmaker, and I want to continue telling our story. And I think our stories are important, and there's many people around the world that want to hear our story and hear how we are as individuals, you know, because, you know, how would people know? You know what I mean? Like if you're not watching it through a film, through a documentary, through a music video, you would have no idea. You know what I mean? And I think that's the power of visuals. Visuals, you're able to bring that across in so many ways. And the way, like the opportunities, like I mentioned as well in my presentation, with the orange economy meeting the blue economy, like I want to say again, is boat captains. You know, we need more individuals to get into underwater cinematography, underwater photography, because we know that our water is better than anybody in the world as well, just like the land. So I think I'm sure Katie is probably doing this as well. You know, a lot of young people that could come to like Katie and learn more about the water. Because one time when I did a production back in the day in Long Island, I had an underwater cinematographer on that project, and when he was diving, I had a person from Long Island that would have been his support with no scuba gear. You know, he had no scuba gear on. You know, we were at Dean's Blue Hole, and as we were filming underwater with the camera, this person from Long Island would dive under, let us know what the scuba diver is doing, and come back. That's amazing. You know, like Lindsay mentioned, you know, Lindsay could do that. You know what I mean? Lindsay I know Lindsay personally, she's an underwater person that could do that. And that's amazing to me. You know, you have Bahamians that could do that, you know, and like that, like when you tell people that around the world, they're amazed. You have people that could dive under the water, dive deep without scuba gear, you know. So there's a lot of opportunity in that, you know. In terms of tourism, when big productions come to the Bahamas, many of those individuals, they need to hire a lot of things in the tourism industry. For example, you know, hotels, not only foreign productions, local productions. When I go and film in Exuma or film in Long Island, I got to get hotel. You know, I have to find a place for food, you know, so that filmmaking has so much opportunities. And that's one of the things that I really, really try to bring across. You know, even though I'm a director producer, there's so many positions in filmmaking and in a film production that's open, and that can, you know, could really, really, really help an individual. You know what I mean? Even during this pandemic, film productions is still happening in the Bahamas, around the world. Film productions is still happening, because it's one thing people always need: visuals. They'll always need visuals no matter what's happening. So it's the one industry that's actually moving during it. And I think once people know that these opportunities are out there, they realize that, okay, you know, I could get into this. Because a lot of times when people have film production, to them it's foreign, to them it's taboo. It's not, you know, it's not something that they feel like they involve in. But we need accountants in filmmaking. We need, you know, like I said, people in the food industry, catering. We need all of those things. Even barbers, hairstylists, all these people in the Bahamas that have these trades, they could work in filmmaking. So yeah, so it's a lot of opportunities.
Thank you, Lovato, for that great answer. You said something so important. You know, people rarely know about us. And, you know, I always say this: you can find sun, sand, and sea everywhere. But what makes us different and set us aside is our people, the way we talk, the food we eat, you know, the simple things that we do differentiates us from other destinations. And it's all about representation, most definitely. And we can do that through the arts. Katie, the next question is for you. Since COVID-19, there's been a lot of growth in the yachting industry, as you said. What do you think has fueled this interest in the Bahamas? Do you see this as a long-term growth in the yachting sector for our nation? Katie?
Yes. So I don't know if you guys remember last year when the ministry had that huge webinar, and there were like yacht brokers and like a lot of people attended, and they were basically giving itineraries for the Bahamas. And they said that, you know, the yachting community was on top priority for them to come in and out of our waters. So a lot of the boats that would have normally have went to the Med You have these huge boats that were coming in here that were like over 200 and something feet. Well, because we didn't have the cruise ships in our port, we were able to, dock a lot of these really huge super and mega yachts. So with that webinar and with the Bahamas announcing the top priority, a lot of, the yacht brokers were promoting the Bahamas because now they could actually move freely in and out of our waters, and they couldn't go anywhere else, really. Nowhere else was really open. And a lot of the private owners on yachts, they were using their yachts more frequently during COVID because it was a way to social distance, and we're still in a pandemic. So people are still, they're changing the way they travel. They're changing the things they're doing when they travel. And a lot of people are looking for more, like I said, authentic experiences, more things to do in nature, a lot of activities. So the influx is not just in the yachting sector. I mean, people are looking to do eco tours. Like I just had someone reach out to me about bone fishing, They came on a yacht here and they're like, oh, we want to do bone fishing. And, they were just in Cat Island and they did some bone fishing up there and they did bone fishing in Stanley Key. So that was pretty awesome. And I do think it is a long-term thing. The yachting industry has always been around. It's just now, it's an influx now because of the way the world is changing. So I think it is going to be a long-term thing because with us being open the way we are, people are now who, like I said, would have went to the Med are now seeing this jewel, the Bahamas. A lot of people didn't know we had an archipelago of islands. They just thought we were Nassau. So now that they know you can go throughout the Bahamas and every island has different things to offer. So they're able to do different activities, see different things, and of course our waters are beautiful. Pristine. I always hear this every time. It's like every time I have a charter, oh my God, the water's so clear, like they're blown away by what we have to offer our resources. So I really do think this is a long-term thing. And this is why I'm encouraging more people to get involved. And like Lavardo said, there's so many other opportunities. Even when I'm on charter, we have people that I call from different islands to just pick up trash. They're able to bring their truck down and load up 70 bags of trash off of a yacht and dispose of it, and they make money doing that. It's simple little things. Or they want someone to come on and just, like you said, a barber. I had a hairstylist come on a yacht the other day just to cut the crew's hair because they were getting ready for a charter, So these are opportunities that people have or local businesses have that they can offer to the yachting industry. So it's not just working on board yachts, it's other services that you can offer to yachts when they're cruising through the Bahamas. So.
Thank you, Katie, for that answer. What's the trickle-down effect, the economic multiplier of the yachting sector? And you explained it pretty well. It's just tapping into markets that are unknown to us to have great economic prosperity. The next question is for Lindsay. It takes some really big courage, Lindsay, to be the first Bahamian mermaid and to think outside the box like that. Can you tell us what sort of opportunities do you see that we can dive into more in the arts and cultural space that we may not know of? And do you think what kind of education do you and cultural resources do we need for this for this to happen?
Yes, it did take a lot of courage. Like I said before, I kind of sat on it for many years. I had a tab open on my iPhone from about 2013 with just how to buy a tail. And then, like I said, it was actually a friend of my husband's who worked in the library at Atlantis who pushed me. She called me, she said, Lindsay, I know you want to be a mermaid. I know you could do this. You go get your tail and come and be a mermaid. And that was in 2015. And not until 2018 did I actually launch, like, officially business licensed Mermaid Lindsay. And it took a very long time, and the courage and getting prepared and the training. It's not just putting a tail on. I have to be fit. I had to become a free diver, like I said, in the blue hole. I think it's mermaiding. Mermaiding is one of the things that is unknown, that is new. You know, up until I launched it, I had no idea that it was there. And a lot of people to date still don't know that it's a booming industry around the world. And it's something that you can do, and you can make a lot of money doing it. Now, here in the Bahamas, because it is so new and so fresh, you know, it's going to take time to get to the level like it is in the US. But some mermaids in the US can make $1,000 just for one event. Now, yeah, your face, they can. And I'm hoping that we can get to that level here in the Bahamas, that there are more young Bahamians that want to venture out into this, and that the industry is respected and that they get paid accordingly. I didn't even know that, you know, a lot of mermaids, they do it just as entertainment. So there are a couple that do it the way that I do it, with the environmental awareness. But I definitely think that we need more education. Everything that I am doing is all self-taught based on my experiences as an informal educator, as a junkaneur entertainer, and as a diver. So definitely we need more education and resources in this particular industry.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. I'm typing now. Do you need a merman for your pod? I'll go to the gym later.
I am open to mermen and merwomen.
Thank you so much for that informative answer. Christoph, back to you. Do you see blue arts and culture and tourism all coming together to help us bring a greater focus of the richness of our family islands to foster development of family island communities, especially where
Yes,
you have national parks?
yes, I do. And I say that because though I work mainly at a terrestrial national park, I've had questions put to me about um, individuals going to family islands for specifically to participate in the blue economy, right? And these are not only tourists, but also, of course, Bahamians wanting to go to family islands, to national parks, like the Exoma Keys Island Sea Park, to participate in the blue economy, either through snorkeling, scuba diving. For example, in Exoma Keys Island Sea Park, which the tour guides in Black Point take advantage of. There's a place called Rocky Dundas that actually rivals Thunderball Grotto. In fact, I would say that it's better, but I'm biased. I'm extremely biased, right? So if we have these individuals taking advantage of this in Black Point, you could imagine the influx that goes into that community, right? Then you're talking about these individuals, not only having to hire, of course, employees to work for them, but they also have to buy supplies to of course, service their boats, to provide food for their guests, etc. So you're talking about a multitude of things coming from this one, of course, aspect of it. So I think, yes, I think it's actually something that we should have been moving in the direction in a long time ago. I think that we could also profit from the ability of having using the Airbnb format for eco lodges that are near national parks, etc. So I think the short answer to that would be definitely yes, by far.
Thank you so much, Christoph. Just to add to that, I've now moved to Nassau from Andros, but I had the opportunity to go back in November, and I was working with a consultant, and I took on a West Side National Park tour. And we did fishing. We looked at, there's an old sponging beacon where sponges used to come from Tarpon Spring, Florida. We told her the story. She got a chance to catch some fish in both Little Loggerhead and Big Loggerhead Creek. And she got to see where Charlie Smith once used to fish out of, where they say Al Capone hung out. She was, as a Bahamian, her mouth was left open to see the jewel that we have within our national parks. And we have our people guiding these tours. So it's just an amazing experience when you go to our family island communities and experience these well-preserved, conserved parks that the National Trust has helped with. The next question goes to Lovato. What is your next story? Tell us, what's in the pipeline for Lovato? What is the next thing that we're going to learn about from you?
Well, us as filmmakers, we always like to say, we like to keep things under wrap, until it comes out. That's like a code in film production, we definitely keep things under wrap until it comes out. But what I would say is one of the things that I really do want to explore, and I am going to explore more, is our history. I think that's something that's missing. I remember being in school and we had these books, these history books that we were learning from, and they were outdated. There's so much parts of those books so much part of the history in those school books that is not told, like you just said just now, you know what I mean? The stories in the national park, the history in the national park. So one of my focus coming up is Bahamian history. And that's something that I feel for years was important. Me as a young Bahamian, I felt like I had no outlet to really see visually history, because for me, even as a young person, movies were always something that engaged me more than reading it in the book, seeing those visuals. So history is something that I want to focus coming up, and I'm sure you guys would see the stuff as it come up. You can look out for it. You could follow, I guess, any of my social media things that I have set up, and you'll see some stuff coming up. I have some exciting stuff, some projects I've did outside of the Bahamas that's coming up really soon. I can't talk much about it, but like I mentioned earlier, even though it's outside of the Bahamas, it's me. I'm a Bahamian filmmaker, and it's me in that project, so some exciting things are coming. I'll definitely announce it when it's time to do that.
We will definitely be on the lookout for the future work that you will be producing.
Thank you.
Next on up, Katie. From what you said in your presentation, we know that there is a lack of awareness within the maritime space in the Bahamian society. What do you think we can do to push and promote more Bahamian involvement in the sector?
Well, more funding of educational programs and events like this, I just remember when I was in school, there was like, I don't know if you guys remember what was it? Like they had like a job fair, like something like that. So something along that type of line, that's geared more towards the maritime industry. I know we do have a school here, LGM, but I think they do more of like tankers and big, huge boats. Yeah. So they're a little different than the yachting sector. So really like a program or a school of some sort that people are able to go to and just get into a program, where it's a package of some sort. So maybe you get your STCW and your captain's license and maybe something like a deckhand certification of some sort, something like that. But some of the certifications that you need to work on yachts, they're really only offered in the US as of right now. Even if you want to get an ENG1, which is the Seafarers Medical, we don't have a licensed physician that does that here. So even if we're open to opening these things up to the yachting sector so that Bahamians are able to, get these things, and they don't have to go to the US to do it. And it's credited and, like it's recognized throughout internationally. I think that would benefit us very, very much. But yeah, more programs, more education, more marketing. So that way, if you're on social media and things like that, it pops up and you see that this is a career, you're able to find more information about it. And I would also say more organizations like yours, like Bahamas Development Bank, that have maybe a blog or a section that somebody can go on and check that out and get more information. Because even if you go on to Google and you search Bahamas, and I've done it so many times, even in my personal research, I'm looking at the yachting sector, I don't see anything there that shows me any information on even just data and numbers, or where can I go to learn this particular thing as a Bahamian. Everything that pops up is all schooling in the US, which I've done personally. I spent a great deal, I invested a lot into my education, but a lot of that was training outside of the Bahamas. So that's a big goal for me for the future, is to create a program of some sort that people can come and just come and check it out, get certified, and it's affordable, because that's another thing. These things are expensive. I've spent, like I said, tons of money just getting education, which I feel like, some Bahamians might not be able to afford it. It's a luxury career, so it's not very affordable in the US. But if we can somehow make it more affordable in the Bahamas and offer it, then yes, I do think that it would generate, a lot of revenue for Bahamians.
It definitely sounds like a great project to start up at the Maritime Academy,
Yeah,
subsector of, how do we help to
right,
supply the yachting sector that's coming to the Bahamas to make us a more attractive destination when
exactly.
it comes to workforce readiness. Thank
Yeah,
you so
because
much,
now it's
Caitlin.
on big demand, by the way. It's on huge demand, so this is the time for it. Yeah.
And it all ties back into culture because whilst in Bahamian waters, you want somebody to be able to tell you the story of why this looks like this the story of this island. You provide that authentic part of that experience for the people traveling through our waters. Last but not least, the last question goes to Miss Lindsay. How does being a mermaid support your passion for marine education? Are we as a country supporting the development of culture in this aspect? How do you bring the two worlds together, culture and the blue economy, through your endeavors as the first Bahamian mermaid?
So I'm able to spread my message in a unique and creative way that's never been done before here. And I think it's a way that I'm able to connect with these kids that I've never been able to connect with them before. Sometimes there may be a class of 20 students and maybe I only really reached 5 of them because they were a little distracted. When I'm with the kids with my tail on, they are there and they are present and they are ready. And like I said before, they want to tell me everything. If they've seen this one conch shell before, they want to tell me everything about it. So then I'm able to take what they're telling me and teach them. So I'm able to use my passion in a different way, a creative way. In regards to our country and culture and conservation, I think that, this today alone has shown me that we're moving in the right direction. However, I'm going to be honest, I don't think that we're moving fast enough. So the plastic ban is a perfect example. It happened, however, it took way too long. There were many environmentalists, scientists that were pushing for the plastic ban. It should have happened years ago. But I feel sometimes in our lovely country, we are a little reactive versus proactive. And we need to start moving in the direction that, we cannot afford in the Bahamas to wait until it's too late and be like, we have to fix it now. So we're moving in the right direction. I think we just need to continue doing stuff like this, where there's a group of us that get together and we know that we're all here and we have these great ideas and continue brainstorming and reinforcing each other in this field. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. And the work that each and every one of you are doing is helping to educate the future generation so we can turn sustainability into a lifestyle instead of an option moving forward. Thank you all for your feedback. We'll now go into, we have one question from the audience. And that question is, um, where can a Bahamian interested in learning about nature trails, tours, bird watching, native plant identification get the training to be a successful tour guide, naturalist, etc.? I guess, Christoph, you can open it up. But I would like for each of the panelists to briefly discuss within your individual field, where can a Bahamian go to do exactly what you are doing? Christoph?
So if you want to get information on how to conduct natural tours, I think there is a course that's a combination between tourism and BAMSI when it comes to bird watching. you're gonna get a little bit on nature tours and also Plan ID. I don't know how specific or how deep they go into Plan ID, but I do say that it's something that is missing from the Bahama Host program. It should be included in the Bahama Host program, in my idea. And if you want to do what I do, right, it takes a lot of heart as a park warden. Um, Send an application to hr@bnt.bs, right, and get involved, not only to the BNT, but to any NGO that is in the environment and has a passion for protecting our environment for future generations.
Thank you, Christoph. Next one up, Katie.
Oh, sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Just closing remarks on how, if a Bahamian would like to do exactly what you're doing, where can they find the resources?
Okay, so like I said, we do have an online intro course that's offered on my website. I can post my website in the chat as well. So if you want to log on to that, it's just on the corner of the website. It says online courses. It's just an intro course. So, you know, there's a lot that goes into yachting. So basically doing the intro course will help you to see like if you really want to do this industry. Just because you work in close proximity with people. So you're always in like a small cramped space. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot involved in working in yachting. It looks very luxury, but it also entails a lot of things that people might not necessarily be interested in. And it's also, you'll be away from home a lot. So with the intro course, you'll get to know about all of these things just to kind of say, okay, is this something that I really want to do? Or maybe I want to offer services to yachts instead of actually working on board a yacht. So yes, you can just go on to my website and that's where you can check out the online course. You can sign up as well if you don't win one of the enrollments today. The course is just offered for, I think it's like maybe 20 something bucks. It's really affordable right now. We just didn't want to mark the price up. We wanted to keep it where everybody was able to access it. But it's only about 30 minutes, but it does have a lot of information. So that will be the best place to go if you're looking to, and it's made by a Bahamian. So you want to support each other. Yeah, it's made by Nate Albury. She's the chief stewardess on board a motor yacht. So she made the course and I'm just helping her to promote it through my website. Okay.
Thank you, Katie. Lovato?
Well, in our industry, the entry level is normally a production assistant. And that's basically the production assistant assists in all departments in the film production. You know, it's where I started before I was a director producer. I worked my way up, gain as much knowledge as I could. So any individual that want to get into this, you could reach out to me directly. Like I mentioned earlier, interns, I always look for interns. If anyone knows me, they know that, you know, if you on my set, you would more than likely see a university student or a high school student that's on set learning. So I'll set my email in the chat so everybody could see, and reach out directly to me. And you know, and you don't necessarily have to be interested in filmmaking per se, but if you want to be somehow connected to the film industry, like I mentioned, the boat captains, the barbers, the hairstylists, you know, food people, we always need to hire catering services. So you could reach out to me as well. That's the best way. And the people that want to get into this, don't think that you have to go to film school to learn this. You know, the best way to learn this is to come on set. I can tell you that from firsthand. You know, film school teaches you some stuff, but the real world is the way you learn our industry. It's by coming on set. I know many people that went to film school that didn't continue doing it, and people that never went to film school a day of their life that are some of the best filmmakers in the world, that we all watch their movies every day. So reach out to me. You know, I'm definitely, I'm one of those people. I'm open book. I will teach you. I will bring you on set, anything you need. So I'll put my contacts in the chat.
Thank you, Lovato. And Lindsay, bring us on home and wrap it all up.
All right. So in regards to mermaiding, if you're interested, you can email me at bahamasmermaids@gmail.com. Now, You have to be very fit. You have to be a strong swimmer. You have to be comfortable speaking in front of groups. You have to be comfortable performing. So I guess volunteering is probably one of the best things that you can do. That's where I started out. There's lots of opportunities. Like Christophe said, you can volunteer with the Bahamas National Trust. You can volunteer with BRIEF, all of the NGOs, where you would get the experience of being an informal educator to children. And that's the best to get your foot, you know, in that industry. Mermaiding, like I said, I was self-taught, and it takes a lot of time. My tail, for example, weighs 35 pounds outside of the water. So yeah, it's just volunteering and doing your research. Reach out to me if you're interested. I am looking for another mermaid on Bahamas Mermaids because it is growing. I'm getting busy, and Mermaid Lindsay can't mermaid for the entire Bahamas.
Thank you so much, Lindsay.
You're welcome.
From the ocean, we emerge, and this is who we are as a people. It is a part of our culture. We are the ocean. Let's move forward and take this information that we have learned here to harness the economic power and the conservation power of the ocean that surrounds us. We have so much opportunities just at our fingertips. Go there. Let's create a tourism industry that is created by our people, that focus on people, place, and planet. Chris, Katie, Lindsay, Christophe, Lovato, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for sharing such valuable information on your creative minds that you have used to display the power of our ocean. And you, our audience, for staying tuned with us. Go there, be ocean warriors. Thank you for attending. I'll now turn it over to Samara.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Taran. Before everybody signs off, just a reminder, for more info on the grants, please email sti@bdb.gov.bs. To all of our attendees who stayed with us for the entire day, good for you. And again, to our panelists, thank you so much for participating. On behalf of BDB again, have a great day.